What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Apartment 113 podcast, where we talk with cool folks in the cannabis and psychedelics industry to learn about their projects and celebrate their successes. My name is Rob Sanchez, and this is episode 21. We're joined today by Aubrey Amatelli. Aubrey is the founder and CEO of PayRio. She has a great background in finance, working at JP Morgan before starting PayRio as a payment solution for the cannabis space and other high-risk industries. They offer zero-cost credit and debit card processing, among other services. Find out more at payrio.co and follow them on Instagram at payrio_HQ. Enjoy the show. Aubrey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely good to have you on, and I think it's a long time in the making since rainy Benzinga.
Yes, it was. It was definitely a rainy weekend that week, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was a really great event to see the industry and the turnout, and maybe the rain forced some networking that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Yes, I am thankful for the rain.
Well, on the industry side, you have definitely been making a name here and making the conference circuit, attending Benzinga and showing up at a few other places across the states. When did PayRio really enter the payment space for cannabis?
Funny you asked. I actually was looking back at my incorporation date. We incorporated the end of May 2022. So we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary of incorporation.
Hey, happy birthday.
Yeah, I know. But since launch, it took a lot of time developing the company, researching the technology, and going through my process to ensure that when we had our first customer come on board, they were in the best place they could possibly be in terms of cannabis payments. So we entered the payment space. Our first transaction was in November of 2022.
Okay, great. Oh, coming up on the anniversary there.
Yes, exactly.
It's cannabis, CBD, or it's cannabis, rec and med, but also CBD and health and wellness industries, right? Other high-risk verticals.
Exactly. When I launched PayRio, I wanted to support industries that I was passionate about, and cannabis being one of them. But we also do CBD, e-com. We work with the Deltas, Kratums. We just broke into cannabis and hemp seeds and are now well on our way of supporting dozens of seed companies. Psilocybin, we have our first psilocybin company coming on board and are also touching ketamine treatment centers. So everything health and wellness, high risk, but all of the space that I'm very passionate about.
Right. Kind of being able to combine two passions into work is definitely the goal, right? Not always easily done. How did you get started in the financial realm? I know that you have an excellent career background on non-cannabis financial industries. Really, what was the evolution there, or how did you end up in finance?
Yeah, that's a great question and kind of a really cool story. So I was born and raised in the Silicon Valley. I always say startups are in my blood, but I grew up in Silicon Valley, went off to college on the East Coast, went to get my MBA in Hawaii, but then ended up back in the Silicon Valley to start my career. There, I worked for a fast-growing startup right in the heart of San Francisco during the Daily Deal boom, where Groupon and Living Social were some of the bigger companies. I don't know if you remember Daily Deals back when you could, 25 for 50 at a restaurant. Right. So the company I worked for called BloomSpot was number 3 in the industry, and it was a wild ride, being part of the first dozen employees all the way through when they got acquired by JP Morgan. Wow. That is where I entered into the financial world. So going from definitely selling, 25 for $50 gift certificates to restaurants or nail salons to now being part of a very big financial corporation. But that was one of the best. That was such a great blessing for me because at that time I was just starting to have children. I have 3 now, but my first was born right before that acquisition. So going into JP Morgan was just a really great place to be, a really secure job. And
good timing.
Yeah, it was really great timing. And then, they folded our daily deal company into their payments division. So after about a year,
I was going to ask about the acquisition.
Exactly. So they wanted to do daily deals for the card issuers, like Chase Sapphire card holders could do, spend $25, get $50 to Bed Bath & Beyond. And so their idea was to bring daily deals in-house. But after about a year, JP Morgan just decided they no longer wanted to pursue that. So they had this really amazing company, and they said, where should we put them? And they put us in the payments division. And that's really where my love for payments started. I was at that time, cold calling 100 small businesses a day, and over 11
putting
years.
in the work.
Yeah, putting in the work, but worked my way up, and was at the end was leading a large sales and relationship management team for the Western U.S. and their mid-market and enterprise group. So just a really great ride at JP Morgan, and I always say almost like the Harvard of education for payments, because JP Morgan is the largest credit card processor in the world, and I got to learn from the best during my time there.
Just a really good arena to learn and adjust. Yeah, it kind of. Do you think that you would agree then with the statement that maybe you don't follow your passions, but you become passionate about what you work on or what you do? Or did you have plans for payments and financial interests earlier?
I did not. I always joke, I had no clue or didn't care what happened after I swiped my card. But that small millisecond, that small millisecond of technology is exactly what I've been talking about for my entire career since I was, acquired by JP Morgan. So that millisecond is the sweet sauce to what we do even today at PayRio.
Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting that the feature is only during that millisecond or those few moments of interaction, but it's so essential and actually kind of that finishing stamp, right? Absolutely required for transactions across the board.
Exactly. We're all waiting to see if our card is approved or declined, right? And that approval or decline is exactly what the technology I've been selling my whole career does. So I did fall into payments, but I am so passionate about it now. Payments is just such an ever-evolving technology, and that's what's so fun about it. I'm still learning something every single day, and that hasn't stopped since JP Morgan. I went into the payments division at JP Morgan, and that's what keeps it exciting. I mean, I was able to support the launch of Apple Pay. At JP Morgan, I was also part of when all the cards started to accept chips, right? The chip technology and credit cards. And then on to when buy now, pay later technology was released. I was an integral part of working with one of the largest buy now, pay later companies to build their payment strategy. So it's, payments are much more than swiping your card and getting that approval. But it was fun. Right. It's been fun to be part of the evolution of payments, and you have a front row seat in that. And now that's, what PayRio is doing is we're really get a front row seat in educating and empowering dispensaries to not only accept debit, but credit card. And it's been so fun. It's been
right. And actually acting as a next step in that payment history. Now PayRio is helping to contribute to it rather than as you've seen it evolve too throughout. That's excellent when an industry, when you can find a home in an industry like that. I feel the same way about software and on the cannabis space as well. And out of maybe more of necessity and just the way life worked out and not like original plans or intentions.
Exactly.
Always good there.
Yeah, I got my degree in marketing, and here I am, running a payment company, but hey, it works.
Yeah, I was originally going to be a biologist. I don't know why. I don't know how I got involved in software now.
Yeah, that's a big swing. That's awesome.
It's been a journey there. Yeah, on the cannabis side though, how about your origins there and kind of your story with the cannabis industry, maybe as it stands now, or cannabis as it was in the before times?
Yeah, it's funny you ask. I was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine about my history with cannabis, and it did not start when I launched PayRio. I was actually, involved. My ex-husband and my kid's father grew cannabis way back when in the early 2000s when I met him, and so was involved in helping or part of those grows throughout the time that we've been together and had children. So I saw him be wildly successful financially doing home grows under the lights to everything changing with and him not being able to sell anymore because of the masses. So was involved early on and kind of saw the swing of his cannabis career change. And then, just have been passionate about the plant myself. So fast forward COVID, I picked up gardening, and included in that garden were 6 plants, and I have grown 6 plants every summer since outdoor. Lucky to be in California where I can do that and not worry about it. So
Yes.
been a grower myself and, a user. I consume cannabis, after the kiddos go to bed is a great way to relax and wind down and go to sleep. So passionate about the plant, love the industry, have seen the industry evolve from the early days, and happy to now be able to just really immerse myself in the community and help it out.
Right. That's awesome, and yeah, quite an experience there coming through with a cultivation background. I still think the one way to really appreciate the community and what the industry is to get your hands in the dirt and actually see the plant grow and kind of understand what's all at the core of everything we're doing. I know there's a lot of ancillary businesses and things on the side that are necessary to the industry, but seeing the plant and interacting with it on that consumer level is the best way to learn.
Exactly. Yeah, this year I'm actually growing from seed. So
Great,
I have six little babes right here on my office desk getting some sun.
Just getting started, or they all pop successfully?
I had, it's funny, I had seeds from 2 different seed banks. So three for each. 3 of them are not thriving and 3 of them are thriving. So I'm starting to learn a little bit more about genetics now, right? And that, because all the clones look the same and they look beautiful at the dispensary, and that's what I've grown. But this is the first year with seeds, so now I'm getting to know a little bit more about the genetics and the strength of those as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, the seed is definitely good to get. Well, first of all, you might be able to find some good chemotypes, like different representations of that cultivar that wouldn't be in the clone by popping from seed. Some things could be better or more unique. That's always good. And then just being able to see that everything grow the whole way is, I think, a different experience too than starting from a nice, fully developed clone.
Exactly.
Nothing against starting from clones, of course, but the seed popping is the traditional way for sure.
Yes, I think, I'll see what survives out of the 6. This is really testing my green thumb.
Are you container growing then, or is it going right into the ground?
So I popped the seeds and I put them in kind of a pre-populated little dirt puck, if that makes sense. And then I got the little seeds to pop. And then I put those into a larger kind of square, once the roots were pushing out, now I transplanted them into a bigger square container that I got my tomatoes in. I know this is really grassroots here. So now they're in a larger square. And once they grow enough in these, then I'm going to pop them into the dirt outside. So
nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
That's got to be great to have a joint and a salad. Everything's coming from the backyard.
I have tons of tomatoes. I grow not only cannabis every year, but our entire salad bowl, and all the veggies we eat in the summer come from the garden outside. So
nice. That's the way to do it. Yeah, take advantage of that weather. Jealous of that here in Nevada. You anything you try to plant is just a exercising
Oh.
patience, and eventually disappointment.
Oh.
It's way too hot for gardening. I've tried that a few times outdoors.
Yeah.
So when PayRio began, and you first took your kind of cannabis background and understanding and the financial background that you had, was it difficult to come up with to bring the vision to reality and really get the product created? Or how long was that process kind of from ideation, I'm thinking about starting this cannabis payments company, to really making that first client or first transaction or corporation in 2022?
Yeah, so I would say I would be so proud to say that I built the technology from scratch. But in the payment space, what's very unique is that a lot of payments companies partner with strong processors and strong banks. So, for example, Square is actually a partner with JP Morgan on the back end with the processing and the banking. So the way we set up is we found a processor and a bank partner, just the way Square set up. So what I did do in my research over 6 months before launching was find the absolute best technology to support cannabis CBD, and alternative medicines in a fully compliant manner. And that's how the company was born.
Right. So once you kind of can arrange that rail or that payment method, then it starts to become more about marketing, all the fun stuff, right? Getting out on the ground.
Exactly. I didn't mention, but after I left JP Morgan to become the chief revenue officer to FinTech, and really learned how to run a rev org in a startup world, right? And that's exactly what we're doing is leading with marketing, growing revenue, and then ultimately, recycling our revenue into the company to help the company grow. So that's exactly how we launched: is find the right platform, find the right base, and launch it with a great sales team. And now, slowly adding marketing, finance, and all the other aspects now that we're getting to a point of scale.
I see. So kind of looking at expanding the feature set there, or the services with scale.
Exactly.
Excellent. That's always good when the business reaches that point. You made some good decisions along the way or started on the right path.
Exactly.
How about the branding for PayRio? Was there some deliberation there, or how did the decisions go down there? For our listeners, the PayRio branding is a very vibrant pink and bright blue coloring that I think really pops on the conference floor from when I met you guys, and I think looks good on the website for sure. How did you come to those conclusions?
Thank you. When I launched the company, I envisioned the neon pink sign, with the green backdrop, right? And that's kind of the vision. But I wanted to bring in blue for, Rio, meaning river and water and just flow and life. And so very quickly, blue and pink became our colors. The hats, there's a local woman in Danville, California, where I live, who makes these amazing hats for my son's soccer team, different colors.
Okay.
But I reached out to her and I said, hey, here's my company. We're blue, we're pink. I would love to have a hat that said PayRio. We're going to MJ BizCon. This was back in November, so very early on. And she came up, with the first prototype of our blue hat. And then from there, I just thought to myself, these are awesome colors. And we should, as a team, always wear the hats and the colors at conferences, because we don't have a marketing budget. So what better way to market than to, have our team be the marketing, like a walking billboard.
Yeah, right. Use some real estate on your head.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's turned out great. It's good. It's interesting to hear how the origins of like branding and coloring, things like that. How about the logo for PayRio with a P in a bubble or a quotation?
Like a teardrop, maybe, or a water drop, right, upside down. Honestly,
I can see it.
I just went on a logo making website. I forget the one that was called. company name
Dug in.
and just, out popped this P, and the colors came. I didn't pick those. It just kind of auto-generated the font. I love the Poppins font. And I was at, self-funded company from start to even till today.
Awesome.
So, I thought this is a great logo. I need to launch this. If I want to come back to my logo in the future and actually pay someone to fine tune it, that'd be great. But you know what? I fell in love, and I'm so proud of that, logo, and I think it works. So
Yeah,
that's how
definitely
that
does.
came.
Definitely does. So with the business all made and the branding ready to go, entering the market, did you choose specific states first, or did you have some partnerships or kind of like businesses already picked out that were ready to try PayRio?
We did not. So we did not. We just wanted to support any state where it was medically or recreationally
Oh,
legal.
great.
And that was where the efforts of cold calling and going back to my roots.
Yeah.
My very first employee, Chase, he's done an amazing job. He spent months, cold calling and getting in with dispensaries. And that's the way we learned that, cold calling is great, but getting to events and shaking hands and meeting people is even better. And cannabis, this industry is all about trust. And so earning their trust and showing up is number one. So it's been an evolution, but we're open to any state that wants to process payments in cannabis. We're in 18 states across the country and growing. And
Wow. Okay.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, that's great. And it's definitely interesting to point out that with the industry requiring trust, how some of the conferences and the things like that have almost a dual purpose at times to both learn and be involved in the industry, but also just to show that you are who you say you are on the website, right? Or you are representing yourself. Those kinds of things are always buried in there. How has the conference circuit been for you this year with PayRio? Having fun so far, or learning a lot, meeting some good folks?
We sponsored Benzinga in Miami, and we're going to sponsor again in Chicago. We already have everything set up for MJ BizCon, and we're considering being a sponsor at Lyft in San Francisco. But we are attending, without sponsoring, multiple events. NECAN in Massachusetts was one. Hall of Flowers, Emerald Cup Awards. So we're getting out there and meeting the customers and supporting the industry any way we can.
Excellent. Yeah, it's always good on that tour or on that conference journey, seeing the different regional industries and regional markets, the products and things there, and getting to talk with the folks. It's the same industry overall, but there's still those regional differences and market differences. And living in California, of course, you're spoiled with the industry there. That's a hard baseline to compare against.
It is, but California is a legacy industry, so it has a lot of deep relationships with all the vendors they have, right? And so coming in and supporting the businesses in any way we can, or giving us the opportunities to support them, even if it's as a credit only solution, has been amazing. So yes, we're very fortunate to be here, and it's wonderful to support local dispensaries. I love always being able to drive out and help onboard them in person and meet the staff.
Definitely going where the work is has a lot of value.
Yes, exactly.
It's got to be cool to buy some cannabis for consumption using a payment service that you provided as well. That's something very refreshing there.
Yes, it's the best. It really is the best.
Right. It's just like, I guess we should have added that to that ideal of smoking homegrown cannabis and eating a homegrown salad. Maybe your joint is infused with some concentrate you purchased as well.
Exactly.
Through your own payment rail.
Yes, exactly. The whole ecosystem.
Right. Mm-hmm. You just need some fish swimming around down there.
Yeah, I do. I did actually just get a couple fish for the house. For the
Nice. Nice. So you mentioned a few different types of payment methods. What are the types that PayRio offers, and could you give listeners kind of maybe a distinction between the two as well?
Yeah, so there's two offerings. One is we support dispensaries, and we empower them to accept credit and debit card through our physical terminal. So all transactions are card present, meaning the chip technology is used when the transaction's processed. The way we support dispensaries through that terminal is we say normalizing payments. So the customer comes in, inserts their chip card, chooses a receipt, signs with their finger, chooses a tip, signs with their finger, gets a receipt, and goes. It's no different like we're used to checking out at a coffee shop, a pizza shop, or even Target. So we're normalizing the payments there. And the sweet sauce of what we're doing that is fully compliant is behind the scenes, that millisecond of technology that I talked about earlier. The way that the funds are flowing are very unique and proprietary to our solution, and that enables dispensaries to their customers can use Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, which is really cool. So that's one piece of our business, and one that's thriving because we are one of the only card present credit and debit card processing solutions in the industry right now. And the other piece of our business is all e-com based. So we support everything non-THC in the e-commerce setting. So ancillary products, CBD, the deltas, kratom, cannabis seeds. So I mentioned hemp seeds, psilocybin, ketamine treatment centers. So all of that is card not present. Plugging into the different companies' websites. And we're very passionate about that because those industries are considered high risk, and many processors take advantage of those industries because they're considered high risk by offering them, double the cost that we would charge, or we are able to charge for those. So we're able to save a lot of companies over half on their processing fee by switching to us. And we also provide a very safe place for them to land. A lot of the e-commerce companies tend to get dropped by their processor or their bank without any warning. And with us, that doesn't happen. We do all underwriting up front. So once they get signed on board, they are in a safe place and will not lose their processing capabilities ever.
Yeah, so, I was working on an integration with a payments company that I won't mention now because when we were almost done with it, it was dropped.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Always good to waste some dev hours.
Let's chat after this.
On the e-com side is very interesting. So does PayRio uses a plugin, or you integrate then with their websites or with different software around the retail side?
Yeah, so we integrate to dozens of gateways, and so in our solution, we also have a gateway of our own. So plugs into Wix and WordPress. We can even plug into Shopify through a gateway. So every website on the e-commerce side needs a gateway in order to plug into a processor. And we're that processor. So all we have to do is make sure we have solid integrations to multiple gateways to give our customers the opportunity to choose whatever website and gateway they want. And so
I see.
Successful. Yeah, we've been able to support all of our customers who have come to the table in whatever configuration between website and gateway they come to us with.
Right, kind of having the many inputs to get to that business unit or to that kind of that service.
Exactly, and we even help customers start websites. So give them advice on different web builders to use. Can set them up with a gateway to plug into our processing, and can really hold hands with them along the process from end to end. Yeah.
Kind of get things started still, or really spin up the website if they don't have it yet.
Exactly. Yes.
Great. Yeah. Are there any kind of innovations or advancements in fintech or in payment processing that you've seen on the horizon, or that you think may be around the corner, or something you're excited for in payments?
I'm really excited, and I could speak for a lot of us for, the Safe Banking Act to pass. I think when the Safe Banking Act passes, it's going to open up the world of cannabis to allow them to take advantage of the normal credit card processing rails and process payments the same way every other industry
Just kind of
does.
can join everyone else and follow the industry standards.
Exactly. And cannabis is newer to digital payments. And so it might not be anything new for normal, industries that aren't considered high risk, but for cannabis, the Safe Banking Act and processing credit cards through what I air quote the normal rails is very innovative for the industry. And that's where my
Huge step, right?
expertise, yeah, it's a huge step, and where my expertise at JP Morgan lies. And we're already ready and building the tech to support that. And it's just,
Awesome.
I'm just really happy to be in the space at this time. So when the Safe Banking Act does pass, all of our customers, can have the choice to stay on the current platform or potentially move to the new platform.
Right. Be ready to pivot and take advantage of the new landscape as it continues to change in the cannabis world.
Exactly.
It's definitely it's been a very fun industry to work in that regard. I can't imagine an industry or being in one that doesn't change yearly now. I would feel like, hey, is this really how it is? Are you sure?
I know.
But I guess there's something to the stability that would be comforting for others maybe. But I think the cannabis industry lets folks thrive in kind of that tumultuous rules and regulations.
Exactly. And you know what's funny? So this payments industry is the same way. It's a constantly evolving industry with different rules and regulations. And I mentioned earlier, it's just an exciting industry to be a part of. And it was almost tapping out on innovation, you know, extreme innovation, but being able to get into cannabis with payments is essentially me being able to continue that exciting journey of payments in an industry that's so new to payments.
Right, right. How about the new kid on the payment fintech block, blockchain and like DeFi, banking and things like that? Do you think these are still kind of buzzwords that need to be harnessed more in the future, or actually applicable like technology to the payments realm? Or what are your thoughts around those guys?
Blockchain and the security behind that technology is really important in payment, not just in cannabis payments, but all payments. But as a company, we do not play with cryptocurrency. We're all U.S. based in terms of our banking processing. So for me, I kind of stay out of that realm. But yeah, I would say
my knowledge is
that question
surface
to the
level.
blockchain. Yeah, same.
We'll keep that door open and find someone in the cannabis industry on the blockchain side.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's very interesting to see what can be done on the payments piece, and especially outside of payments. Working on with loyalty points, or other aspects there in e-commerce. Integrations have been a constant demand in the cannabis industry as well, with startups like PayRio and others that are recognizing gaps that state compliant software just doesn't cut it. I think that it's a exciting place for sure. So outside of PayRio, you mentioned that you consume on a semi-regular basis or regularly. What is your consumption method of preference? Are you a flower fan, a concentrate, edibles?
I all three. So I love flower.
Keep the list going, right?
Yeah, I do love flower. Gummies are up there in a pinch. I like gummy, and then concentrate tinctures are for me my consumption choice at night. Good nighttime tincture before bed. So
Yeah, just easily tinctures easily applicable, and not so attention gathering, right?
Exactly. I like the
Yeah.
ceremonial part of smoking, right? Like the flower.
Yeah.
But a gummy is just a really good way in a pinch, or if I'm solo, right? Just have a gummy
Yeah.
and go on my way. And then
Hey, with a
pictures. Yeah.
right, and with your eyes closed, you could make that ceremonial with the gummy as well, appreciating
Yeah.
that flavor.
Me too. Yeah,
Maybe
definitely.
not as many steps as the grinding and kind of tapping out the flour and things like that.
Exactly.
I had some roommates in college that were like tuned to the noise that the metal grinder makes tapping out, and you could be almost anywhere in the house making that noise and folks would arrive.
I love it. It's almost like when the cork comes out of a wine bottle. Everyone
Yep.
what's over. Yeah,
Start seeing what was just opened.
exactly.
Well, have you seen more of the cannabis industries outside of California? Are there any thoughts on your side or preferences? Are you still a local fan, and is California your favorite?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, yeah, California is my favorite. It's won me over. It feels like home here. I mean, even back in high school, we were getting our hands on some pretty good cannabis.
I
So
can only imagine. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I think I
California's.
mentioned it on a previous episode, but my high school cannabis experience was awful. Like ditchweed, whatever made it to Kansas after you guys all got it.
Oh yeah, I know. It was all the leftovers you probably got over there.
Yep. Yep. No, it's always good to see the different spaces. California is very, very high on my list as well. Some of the outdoor grows and things there are just untouchable in other markets. Not to throw shade on the other markets, of course. Everyone's learning, getting up there. California's just spoiled with that weather and landscape.
I think, yeah, we are spoiled, that's for sure, but I'll take it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and keep churning out quality and processing payments. Well,
Exactly.
Aubrey, thank you for coming on the episode here and joining us today. Where can our listeners find out more about you and PayRio?
Yeah, follow along on our Instagram. It's pretty fun and lively. It's PayRio_HQ. You can also find us on our website, www.payrio.co, payrio.co. I actually have my calendar link right there on the website if you want to meet me direct. I love to have conversations about what we're doing in the industry and payments, so I'm readily available. We look forward to hearing from you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Apartment 113 podcast. For more information about the show and our range of services, visit apt113.com. We offer cannabis operations consulting, agile product management, and connoisseurship services. With over a decade of experience in the cannabis industry, Apartment 113 is here to help.